This dictation from Progressive Exercise 17. Ready? Start. On behalf of the government and the people of India, I extend a most cordial welcome to all of you. We appreciate the spirit in which you have accepted our invitation, for in spite of the difficulties imposed by distance and by preoccupations in your own countries, you have responded to our call. I also wish to place on record my thanks to UNESCO for having acceded to our request to hold its first ASEAN seminar in our country and extending to us assistance and cooperation in all possible ways. You have met here today to discuss what is perhaps the most important and vital problem for all Asia: the welfare, progress, and prosperity of any state depends upon the quality of its citizens, and this in turn depends upon the education which molds their character and shapes their thoughts. A sound system of education is important for all countries. It is still more important for the countries of Asia. Here we are witnessing a new awakening after centuries of slumber and inactivity. The past glorious traditions of the ASEAN countries demand that this new awakening must bring to the world a new message, even as our ancient civilizations sent forth to the farthest corners of the globe. For Asia gave to the world its religions, philosophies, cultures, and civilizations. Para. The challenge of our ancient traditions and the spiritual poverty of our immediate past both require from the peoples of Asia an exceedingly great effort for the reconstruction of their lives in all spheres. This involves a basic reconstruction of their lives in all spheres. This involves a basic reconstruction of our modes of education, for without such education, we cannot fulfill our hopes. Ours is essentially a democratic age, and the spirit of equality, fraternity, and liberty is sweeping over all the peoples of the world. The Asian countries must reconstruct their polity and their society in conformity with this spirit. It is universally recognized today that education of the future citizens is one of the prime duties of the state. On such education depends our prosperity and welfare. Of even greater urgency is the problem of educating the adult population. They determine the present, which in its turn will shape our future destiny. Education of the future generations can only be planned if the present generation recognizes the importance of such education. Material prosperity or spiritual welfare cannot be achieved unless the citizen of today accepts the challenge. Para. When we contrast the demands which democracy makes upon citizens of a state with the actual condition of education in the different countries of Asia, the picture is one of grave and anxious concern. It is true that in some exceptional cases of the problem has been largely mastered. We have Japan, which, according to figures available for 1996, has a literacy figure of 99% and illiteracy of only 1%. Lebanon in the Middle East is also reputed to have a high literacy figure. In 1995 to 1996, literacy in Turkey was 60% in the towns and 40% in the villages. The Philippines, with its figure of 52.6%, is also comparatively well placed. The same remarks would apply to Ceylon, Thailand, Burma, and China. We cannot, however, gauge the magnitude of the problem by percentages alone. China has a literacy figure of over 50%. If we take the total population of China to be 950 millions, this would give an adult population of about 425 millions. It is unlikely that the percentage of literacy will be the same for adults as for children and adolescents. Even if this questionable assumption is granted, the number of adult illiterates in China would be some 225 millions. Para. If we take the figures for India, we find that in pre-partition India, the total number of literates according to the 1941 census was 37 millions, assuming that the number of adult literates is about 40% of the total number of literates. This gives a figure of a little over 15 millions. This refers only to the pre-partition India provinces. Partition meant a loss of about 26% of the total population, and assuming that the reduction in the number of literates was in the same proportion and allowing for fluctuations owing to normal processes of birth and death. We may put the figure for adult literates in the Indian provinces after partition at roughly 11 millions. To this, we have to add the number of adult literates in the states. This is estimated to be about 6 millions. The number of adult literates in India on the basis of 1941 census is therefore approximately 17 millions against a total adult population of about 180 millions, which gives a literacy percentage of slightly less than 10 for adults. This is not only unsatisfactory but positively disturbing. Naturally, the government of India proposed to give the first priority to it. Stop. Exercise 18. Ready? Start. It is just over a month ago that we had assembled to participate in the inauguration of this UNESCO seminar on rural adult education. We had then met with high hopes and intentions, and I am glad that though only a month has passed, we can now look back with satisfaction on the work accomplished. I must sincerely congratulate the director, the consultants, the chairman of the groups, the delegates, and other participants of the seminar for the energy and competence with which they have carried out their important task. I have every hope that all the countries participating in this seminar will benefit by the recommendations you have made and carry out your constructive suggestions for solving one of the most pressing problems of the world. I can assure you that so far as India is concerned, we shall examine every one of your recommendations with care and sympathy in order to give effect to them as far and as soon as may be possible. Para. I cannot naturally go into any details regarding your various recommendations. They are the result of hard work and careful thought and deserve close attention before any judgment is passed on them. I must, however, express my sense of satisfaction for the way in which you have sat down to work and divided the different aspects of a colossal problem for study by special groups. The provision of literacy may not by itself be enough for the education of adults, but there is no denying that it is the basis of all real education. The first study group, which dealt with different methods of teaching readings to adults, has made suggestions which will be of value to all countries. The second group, dealing with specific problems of health and family life, has discussed questions which are vital for any scheme of social welfare. No community can flourish until and unless the individuals constituting it are happy, and no individual can be happy without health and a satisfactory home life. Women have a special role to play in this, and I am glad to hear that your group has not overlooked the imperative necessity of securing to women an adequate knowledge of homecraft and health. The third group, dealing with the economic aspects of rural adult education, has attacked what is perhaps the most immediate concern to all rural adult educators of the free India. Para. I must not, however, anticipate the action which different governments may take on your various recommendations. So far as India is concerned, I can say that I am greatly impressed by a suggestion made for the setting up of some centralized agency to guard against the possible dissipation of energy, enthusiasm, and competence through unnecessary duplication of efforts. I have felt that some such agency is necessary to advise the states and the provinces of the Indian Union not only on the general principles of education but also on the coordination of steps, procedure, and methods in order to achieve the best results at the minimum cost. Another topic discussed in the seminar, which has appealed to me and which I propose to pursue in our country, is the setting up of some machinery to carry out a vocabulary study of the different Indian languages with a view to finding out what words are most commonly used in different parts of the country. I may tell you that even though there are 13 main languages recognized in our constitution, these languages cannot by any means be regarded as completely aligned to one another. They have large common vocabularies, and if allowance is made for the mutation due to the factors of space, time, and pronunciation, the number of common words will be large still. Para. I have for some time had in mind a plan for the collection of common Hindi words which are found in all the other Indian languages. I am convinced that when this work has been accomplished, the non Hindi speaking people of India will find that they already possess a large vocabulary of Hindi words, and with the addition of a few more common Hindi words, they can acquire without difficulty a working knowledge of Hindi. I feel that the textbooks in Hindi for the non Hindi speaking people should be prepared on the basis of such graded vocabularies. The government will take the necessary steps in this respect, but I must pay my tribute to the many non official agencies which have been carrying out valuable work on these lines for many years. People all over the world are beginning to recognize that one of the surest ways of securing international peace is fundamental education for the people of world on the lines envisaged by UNESCO. UNESCO has already begun this program. Now more remains to be done, and I hope that its service will be available to all the members and even non-member states by the provision of charts, visual aids, posters, and other illustrated material to impart social education in the fullest sense of the term. Stop.